Thank you, thank you. Ooh, that was a cool run right there. I like that. Pretty cool stuff. Tone like the 80s. Yes, yes, I agree, I agree. I like that sort of sound. Effortless playing, bro. Thank you, thank you. Amazing, appreciate it. That's actually a pretty tough pattern right there. Kind of like a dominant 7th arpeggio. Love that sound though. Let's do some more cool arpeggios. So, that was pretty cool. I'm just reading the comments, my bad. Like a guitar from Dragon Force Band? No, this guitar is a Kiso retro solo. So it's like a Telecaster, essentially. It's got all the cool specs. Tell us more about your Telecaster. Okay, so we're going to go over this real quick. This is a pretty cool guitar. So what this is a roasted flame maple fretboard, McLaren yellow, mahogany body with a plain maple top, so you get that super thick like Les Paul sound. And there's some Seymour Duncan Antiquity pickups in here. And yeah, that seems to be about it. I think like a Godo type bridge or a Godo type of bridge going on right here. And yeah, some speed knobs. So they're pretty relatively fast, so you can, you know, roll the volume up and down as fast as you want. It's not like super hard to get to. That's what I like about it. That guitar looks so smooth to play. It is very smooth to play. Very smooth. Like, it's just, everything is effortless. Your signature guitar. No. This is a Kiesel guitar. I am a Kiesel guitars artist. Actually, this would be a cool signature guitar, actually, because this thing is spec'd out near to perfection, I might add. Oh, I forgot to add. This has a 12 to 16 compound fretboard radius on there, so it makes it super, you know, easy to play. Can you play some diminished seventh stuff? Sure. Let's go for it. This is a pretty cool pattern right here. Cool. That's actually a cool pattern that you could do with hybrid picking. Watch this. It's really sweet. So everyone knows these kind of... That's actually sixes, so it would be like... You can do this with hybrid picking. It's actually quite simple. It's just kind of like... There's a suite. I don't even know how to play it. You get insane speed though when you use this technique where you're using hybrid picking and sweep picking. So I've been doing a lot of that lately, and I just find myself using it more and more because it's just showing up randomly, like just for these even basic fours patterns, like. How do you practice to get that speed? So I pretty much just used a combination of maybe alternate picking for practice. I started with this pattern though. It's on Paul Gilbert's instructional video Intense Rock, and this is what it sounds like fast, I guess. alternate picking, it would sound like. Don't really use that technique as much as I would just use like hybrid picking, because the upstroke is, I suppose, right there where your middle finger is, so you can just go. See, the fingers are already there, so you may as well use them. Why not? Because when I'm playing these kind of ideas, I'm not trying to use extra motion, if that makes sense. I'm trying to, reserve as much energy as possible, because, the fingers are there, may as well use them. I mean, this goes for pretty much any pattern I could think of. I would use this exact technique for the most part, I suppose. What's a good way to start? What's a good way to get started with sweep picking? So that's a good question. You would probably just want to start with like 2-string arpeggios, like maybe just try like an E minor triad like this. And just play down, down, up, and then play each triad in each position like this. But the technique is the same, down, down, up, just each shape is. And then you could do the ascending if you wanted to, why not? It's actually really hard to get this one. What's up, Dags? How you doing? He said, Straten, what's up, man? Hey, how you doing? Just sitting here, explaining some stuff on, picking technique. I think it was sweep picking, yeah. So we were talking about sweep picking. So yeah, if you want to play an arpeggio like that, just 2 strings, pretty easy. Or you could even do it descending like this with the pattern. It's actually kind of hard to get that shape though, like I said. It's actually much easier if you're using a 3-string arpeggio, like. Great player, great teacher, thank you. What gauge string sounds like 8s? Yes, that is correct. I use 8 through 36, I think, or is it 8 through 38? I think it's 8 through 38, maybe. How do you go about learning modes? It's very simple. Just learn the first 7 notes of a G major scale, essentially. So what you're going to want to do is learn this. And essentially, if you learn all these notes across the fretboard on 6 strings like this, that's a basic way of understanding the G major scale. Now, all you got to do is basically start with the root note on each mode now. So there's 7 individual notes. So now we could start an A Dorian. We could kind of get that sound if we did this. And with B Phrygian, the same thing. Same thing with C Lydian. Same thing with D Mixolydian. And same thing with E Aeolian. Same thing with F sharp Locrian. So yeah, that's basically how I go about learning modes. If I was to explain it in like less than 2 minutes, that's pretty much all the information there. Now it's kind of your job to apply these modes, because they're essentially explained all in like 2 minutes. Pretty basic stuff. Special arpeggios. So you want to play special arpeggios. All right, let's try something special. That's kind of cool. Do you play a lot in 4s and 5s? Was lucky enough to have seen Sean Lane play live in Memphis some years ago. Do you play at all in 4s and 5s? I use 4s and 5s actually. So if I'm going to use 4s, that's typically maybe a 1 string or But if you want to play fives, that's typically going to be with 2 notes per string stuff. So if you're going to play like E minor pentatonic, that's going to be fives, or even descending, you could do that. You can even do that with mixolydian pentatonic. It sounds pretty sweet. But yeah, I like mixing that with 2 notes per string stuff. And I'm not sure how much I use it with, 3 notes per string, but I'm going to imagine I don't do it as often as I do with 2 notes per string, because that's kind of like a pattern I do with any something that I can just pull out of nowhere, because it's something that's a part of my muscle memory. Oh, so there's a mode for each of the notes. Yes, technically that is correct. And we're in the key of G major, so there's only 7 notes in the key of G major. So yeah, in that situation, you're going to be looking at 7 modes. I've been stuck in just playing the shapes and not knowing what I'm playing. Yeah, you just got to keep going. Just keep working on them. Keep working on the modes, and I'm sure it'll come together if you practice hard enough. That's what you got to do. You got to practice hard enough. You got to learn the fretboard really well. This is ideally how you should know the modes in G major. So yeah, you're going to want to learn the modes just like that across the entire fretboard and pretty much any key. And that will get you sort of started on the improvisation and being able to play things, I guess, a little bit easier as far as, fretboard knowledge, because you'll get lost quite easy if you don't know that stuff. What types of arpeggios were those? So beautiful. I heard major 7, but my ears trash after I don't know where you went. I don't know exactly what I played. I think I was doing something. I really don't recall what I was doing. Do you still love Buckethead? Or are you still love Buckethead still, is what he said. Because when I ask about him, I see face that say I get off that. I'm not sure I understand your question. But do I still listen to Buckethead? Yes. Buckethead is pretty good. I just saw him live in concert, actually. So, yeah, I do listen to Buckethead still. Great show, by the way. But yeah, those arpeggios, what was I doing there? I think I was doing something like major 7, like what you were talking about. What you were talking about was those major 7s, like, so maybe C major 7. And B major, or B dominant 7. And maybe F major 7. And A diminished 7. Something like that. Actually sounds cool when you do major 7 followed by dominant 7. Some straight fire. Appreciate you. You're amazing. Give us an EJ style run from first fret to the last. Blazing fast, please. LOL. All right, I'll do my EJ impersonation. Why not? How's that? Okay. That telly is beautiful. Love the bindings. Thank you. Yes, it's great. Yeah, someone with the guitar. Do you intentionally think about pick slanting when you pick? Not really. I don't think about it. Just know that the wrist needs to go in certain directions when I'm playing. So when I'm descending economy picking, wrist goes in this direction. But when you're ascending, it's downwards. But then when you're playing certain things, it can be like what would that be? That you need 2A, where you go like maybe something like that. So you've definitely seen it towards the end with the economy picking. I kind of go back naturally to that sort of angle when I feel some economy picking happening. You know what I mean? It's like right there. So just definitely just continue those notes. Sometimes pull-offs help quite a bit too. So when you're using pull-offs, you can kind of go, yeah, I'm doing some stuff like this so I can leave myself an extra upstroke so I can continue with the descending economy picking. So watch. You could pick every note too if you want. You can go. It takes a little bit more effort though, I would say. So if you're, playing something like that and you want to pick every note, it's definitely going to take a lot more effort. But it's definitely worth it to be able to do it. But sometimes if you're trying to like be calm and relaxed, the extra pull off will definitely help. Happy Sunday evening. You shredding. Thank you. Cheers from Ohio. Hey, shout out to you. Play Freebird. Don't know that one, my friend. Don't know that one. That's tough. Thanks for the EJ treat. Any advice on practicing runs chromatically? Gotta love chromatics. I mean, you could just straight up play them however, but I incorporate them with pentatonic mostly and 3 notes per string, so I'll go and mostly the blues scale. I'll just add that sort of. That's kind of what I do. Have you ever covered any Kelly Simmons, Joe Stump, or Tony McAlpine songs? No, I have never done that. Your bluesy phrasing in between the shred is sick too. Thank you. Neoclassical metal, Beethoven or Mozart? I mean, they're both great. They're both great. What do you guys think? Who do you prefer? So we want some neoclassical style. Let's go for some neoclassical. All right. Do you find effective speed progress as your picking hand is powered by arm/elbow as opposed to wrist movement? So what I prefer is to use my motion from my wrist and then use my fingers as well, because when I use my fingers, it kind of like lends itself to be able to play things a little faster, like anything really, like. So it's wrist and fingers mostly, and pick, of course. But yeah, the motion is from the wrist, but there is motion from, you know, the left or the right hand, multiple fingers on this, and because you got to do that. I mean, I feel like I got to do that nowadays to keep up with some of the things that I want to play, because it's near impossible nowadays to play things at certain speeds without using this technique. I just find it so much more convenient, much more relaxed, less thought even into it. It's quite nice. My king, you taught me to buckethead shred. You taught me to bucket shred, and it took like more than a year, but I can finally do it decently. Play buckethead, please. Hey, that's cool, man. That's cool, man. I don't know about any buckethead today, but shout out to buckethead. And that's cool that you learned the lick. That's awesome. I just got it. What are you playing now? I'm just literally playing whatever, just picking up the guitar, you know, talking about ideas. If I play something that stands out, I'll usually do a little explanation. Just shredding it up, really. I'm split on if I should ask you questions, because you have to stop shredding to answer. That's all good, man. If you got a question, feel free. Bruh. Any favorite guitarists you have seen live, or any disappointments? I mean, not really. I've seen a few good guitarists live, you know, and they're all good. Nothing to complain about, really. Oh, cool. We got a super chat in the house. Hey, shout out to you, Kostin Dragomir. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly. First super chat of the night. He says, love the shredding. Appreciate you, man. Thank you. All right, we got another question. So this is a really good question, I suppose, because he says, bro, how do you pick with your middle Bro, how do you pick with your middle finger and your picking hand at the same time? I'm literally using hybrid picking, so I use my middle finger for upstrokes. So if you're using, you know, that's the upstroke right there, is your middle finger. So you're gonna gotta get used to literally doing that and then playing lines like that. So. And when I play arpeggios, it's almost a must. I guess it depends on what kind of arpeggios. Like here you go. That would work too. But yeah, for certain ideas, I just use it at all times just because why not? It's so much easier to play fast, and it's just, I feel like in everyone's best interest to start doing it, because if you don't, you're missing out on a lot of things. I mean, you don't got to do it. I mean, I don't really mind either way. Everyone has their own, thing, but I just like hybrid picking for playing scales, arpeggios, and pretty much just about anything, chords, because it's just a lot easier to do that, For me, at least, it became easy that way. And we got another super chat in the house. Oh, with the big 20. Appreciate you, man. Shout out to Almira Gulch's neighbor. Shout out to you, man. Appreciate the super chat. Everyone shout him out in the comments. That's a big super chat, man. Thank you. We'll do some playing for that one. Any recommendations on Malmsteen's song to learn? I mean, there's a lot of good ones. Whatever you like. I mean, the first ones I learned, I think, were, probably Black Star. But go for it. Do that one. That's probably the easiest because the melody and whatnot. Your sweeping is too clean. Wow, I need to hear the Fire and Ice intro, please. Thanks, man. Actually, I don't really know how to play that one. I could probably fake it for you, but I really don't know it note for note. But I do know it has like these kind of ideas where he's doing these kind of patterns. I mean, I'm not going to try. Shout out Almira, Eric said. Yeah, shout out to him, man. Everyone that's kind of him. $20 is kind of wild. That's really nice of them, huh? Oh, for sure. For sure. Almost. Oh, wait. I almost spelled that wrong. I read that wrong. Algorithm brought me here. Instant sub after that lick, dude. Awesome. Hey, shout out to you, man. Thank you. Hey, if anyone else is new here, come subscribe if you want to see these kind of licks on live stream quite regularly. And I got a lot of videos that you can check out on my channel. And, I'm working on an album as well. So stay tuned for that stuff. How to improve economy picking. So that's a good question. So economy picking, when you got to do it with 3 notes per string, not 2 notes per string. So if we have E major, what I would say is just practice going down, up, down. Did the stream just lag? Can someone confirm that? But let me explain that. So we're gonna do E major scale, down, up, down, down, up, down for each individual string. So you're gonna go. So you can take with C major. And if you get used to that and you know your C major scale, then all you got to do is just keep going down, up, down, down, up, down. And it's sort of like this floating motion where you aren't really picking that hard and you're really relaxed and you're almost like your thumb starts doing this kind of thing. But then when you descend, what I recommend is tilting your wrist towards the direction of you, sort of like this. yeah, that's sort of how I approach it. And then you can use arpeggios. So if you want like an arpeggio, you could have like a 5-note arpeggio. Hey, speaking of 5-note patterns, to the dude earlier, what you want to do is sort of something like this. This kind of pattern. And you can kind of do this kind of stuff. Cool stuff. You can do that with these kind of ideas. So who's going to apply all this stuff? Looks fine. Oh, cool, cool. Thank you. Cool, man. Thanks. I'm going to tell you something. This will make you speechless. Try searching on YouTube about Alif Bata. His guitar playing is amazing. Okay, I'll check him out. I'll check him out for sure. Thanks for the recommendation. Hopefully I pronounced his name correctly. Thank you, LOL. Maybe just a short bit of the bucket sweep tap or shred. I always miss your live streams and your lessons were so good. Thank you, thank you. You want to see some Buckethead style? I'll give you that. My light just came back on. Cool. Okay, there's a little Buckethead style. Actually, I was about to go for that sweep tap if I had 24 frets. That pinky sweep tap, that's actually really tough. Just curious, what type of guitars he played? The neck profile looks so comfortable and flat, but still like a Strat/Telly. So this is a Kiesel Retro Solo. I'm a Kiesel Guitars artist, so I always play these guitars in my videos. And yeah, with that being said, these are just cool guitars, and I've been playing them for a really long time now. And this is a Kiesel Retro Solo. I always play the Kiesel Delos as well. So those are my main kind of guitars. And the Kiesel Theos. Very good guitars. I mean, I can say nothing but nice things about them. You can spec them out exactly how you want them. And they just turn out, I mean, amazing. Kiesel, nice. I got to try them out. You definitely got to try them out. They're very, very good. I mean, if you don't like the specs off of a guitar off the rack, maybe in a guitar store, Kiesel's definitely the option for you because you can just spec it out and it's like extremely affordable for a custom shop guitar. So honestly, you can't go wrong with them. Altex pick, yeah. I got a, oh my gosh, that's what my playing is doing wrong today. It's a 1.14 millimeter. I was like wondering why this pick, it felt like really new and sharp. I like the 1.0s a little bit better. They're actually a lot better. 1.0 for sure. Do you consciously outline chords during improv or does it just happen? Well, I guess it kind of just happens, but I do kind of try to pay attention to it because you got to play with like a, you know, important harmony when you're playing. You know, you got to think of chords. So, you know, any idea sounds much better if you just know what you're doing. Like. playing that C major like that. If you react to it, your subscription will increase drastically. Check now, friends, about Alif Bata. Might have to check that out, my friend. I will do it when I get off the stream. Alright, I'm do some more playing. Your muscle memory is insane. Huge props. Thank you. Yeah, it's all about muscle memory. If you want to be able to shred, you know, consistently and easy, you just got to be able to... That'd be much more of a nightmare with alternate picking, believe it or not. If you used alternate picking, that's like totally like this. Much more risk. Actually, I'm not even sure if I'm using alternate or economy when I was doing that one, because that one actually felt pretty good. That's a Paul Gilbert pattern, by the way. What pentatonic are you playing in? I mean, I was probably playing in just E minor, maybe. Or maybe E mixed Lydian pentatonic. Do a lot of those kind of ideas, so maybe either of those, if I remember. I can concentrate on changes with arpeggios. Do you consciously change scale/modes over changes? Well, it depends on if you are in a certain key center, you can play in a certain, you know, type of way. But if the harmony is actually changing, like as far as like key centers are changing, and of course you'd have to play some changes, but you could probably get away with some not having to do changes if it's like a standard, you know, rock backing track. Advice on practicing sweeping. It seems like it's almost harder to practice sweeping slow. I feel like it's something one can only grab after already being quite fast. Well, that's not necessarily true, because you can't really even practice it slow. It has to be at a certain tempo for it to flow. So if you were to practice it like this, I think any slower than that might not flow. But I think any faster than that, yeah, that's not going to even have the same technique. So there's really no way to practice it slow while maintaining sort of this sort of technique. I think you got to practice it sort of at a medium tempo for you to even consider getting at a, you know, decent speed. So yeah, got to practice it fast. So maybe try 3-string arpeggios, just like an easy arpeggio like this. No questions. Sounds great. Thank you, man. Thank you. What do you practice to be so good on shred guitar? I mean, all you got to do is really practice your scales, arpeggios, economy picking, alternate picking, string skipping. I mean, you just got to get a lot of things down, because shred guitar, I mean, if you can alternate pick, that's cool and everything, but then you're going to want to probably play some like arpeggios maybe, so alternate picking isn't necessarily conducive for arpeggio playing. So then maybe you want to learn string skipping. So if you're going to play some string skipping, you have to learn these shapes. So yeah, I notice every time I open my mouth, I'm just going on something like totally unrelated. But I mean, well, I guess it is related technically because if we were talking about alternate picking and then arpeggios, you don't want to do that. But if you don't want to do sweeping, and then your only option is really string skipping. I played with downstrokes and legato my first decade. Not recommended. So just kind of like that. Do you think learning hard songs is the best way to get good technique? I mean, that's not a bad idea. I went through that process where I'd learn like a bunch of really difficult songs so I could eventually improve my technique. And yeah, I'd say it helps because you can sort of see the structure of the song and how things are done. And when you do that, you kind of, find a framework of what kind of works, I suppose. So yeah, try it, see if it works. Probably will. Here's a good question. Original songs. Yeah, man, still working on them. I'm not sure if you're new here or not, but yeah, I'm working on an album right now. So, yeah. Did you get to check out Eric Steckel? I completely forgot to, so I will do that. Thank you for reminding me. That's those pentatonics. I was about to do that with economy picking, but you can do that with alternate too. Actually, this is a good actual introduction to economy picking or alternate picking because when you play 2 notes per string, you typically can't go economy picking, but with this pattern is kind of the exception. So you go just D minor pentatonic. Or you could do, so that's down, up, up, down. Repeat. But you could also do sort of alternate picking. That's even easier, actually. I actually might even have more control over alternate picking than the economy picking version, but that doesn't mean that technique's not useful. You can get somebody really blazing pentatonic with this sort of pattern. With this sort of pattern, you can kind of go like this. Really tough to play that in octaves. If I can actually attempt that right now. Your current tone is very Eric Johnson-like. Is it now? Might be the Telecaster. Who knows? Sounds like some Eric Johnson stuff. Cool. I guess they're right. Maybe it sounds like Eric Johnson. But I guess it was just pentatonic stuff, so sort of typical Eric Johnson licks. This is a really good tone, though, man. The sustain is ridiculous. How many hours a day do you play? Can you count the days you don't play in a year on one hand? Keep it up. Man, you're incredible. Looking forward to the album. Hey, thank you, man. I play a lot, man. I really don't know the exact amount. I've played a lot of experience. So basically, I've got over 20,000. Basically, I have over 20,000 hours of experience on the guitar. So, with that being said, I mean, that's how much hours I've practiced, I guess. I've done the math, and that's what it equates to. That's, I think, a better representation of skill on a guitar, in my opinion, is hours played rather than years played, because I have over 16 years of experience as well. That, the telly, the delay. What other pedals are you using right now? So this is a plug-in, so it's just plug-in using delay, reverb, overdrive. That's probably it, if I had to take a guess. Straten, I've been practicing your licks for several years now, and it helped me so much. That's amazing, man. Thank you. Keep it up, man. Keep it up. But yeah, explain Telecaster configuration. Okay. So this is a Kiesel Retro Solo. It's got a McLaren yellow finish on it. Really cool. Seymour Duncan Antiquity pickups, roasted maple neck, roasted flame maple fretboard, matching headstock, white text on there. Binding. It's got a mahogany body and a plain maple top, so that binding can kind of pop. That's sort of the configuration to get that to look like that. How often do you go live, bruv? I go live pretty often. I'm gonna start going live a little bit more often. I'm actually, considering doing that. Do you believe it's best to take one concept and work on it until you nail it, then move on? I mean, I don't really have a preference either way. I always say the more ideas, the better. So, I mean, it's going to take you a while to sort of incorporate the concepts, but I don't see a problem with working on all of them simultaneously. I remember I used to have actually a lot of trouble being good at alternate picking and economy picking simultaneously. I'd be like either good at one or the other. Then I finally got to this point where I can kind of play both techniques pretty effortlessly. Although I admit I haven't been using alternate picking as much as of recent, but I still like to keep it in my, availability if I want to use it, like. That's sloppy. And on accident, I do descending economy picking when I'm intentionally trying to practice alternate picking. So it's happening again. It's still pretty good. Yeah, I still pretty much got it, but it's one of those things that working on simultaneously, I'd have to work on that simultaneously, or else I would pretty much be leaving some of these picking techniques in the dust, because if you're not working on like alternate picking, especially, maybe not economy picking, but alternate picking, there's a certain muscle memory that you need to have, especially when you're doing like string changes or patterns where they change from ascending to descending like this. Most people, that's a problem area right there once you get to this. Because look at how my wrist is rotating when I'm doing that. It's actually something that most people don't notice, but when I do this, it's not like me going like this. That's outside picking when I'm ascending and descending there. This turns into like an inside picking, but like you got to do a lot of directional picking when you do, or not directional picking, but you got to do a lot of different picking directions when you're doing this. Like, it actually requires a little bit of concentration to get that inside alternate picking happening right there. All right. What was your first guitar? It was like a little mini guitar, but then I also had a Strat. As usual, love the playing, and that is a really cool tone. Except the single coil hum. It kills me. That's why I don't own one, but it works for you, bro. I appreciate it. Yeah, the hum is where the magic is. You get that extra tone from single coils that don't have a... You get the extra tone from the hum. Opposite for me. As far as the alternate picking goes, explain. If it's about the alternate picking, I'm actually quite interested. But either way, look, explain. Because that's an interesting concept. So you have no problem with the inside picking on that. So you have no problem with that. I mean, I can do it too. I mean, it's not terrible. But it'd be much easier to do economy. Much easier economy picking. But inside alternate picking I prefer, from using legato way too much. So if you were to do this lick right here, you'd go inside, huh? You wouldn't go around using outside. It's actually, I used to do it like that. There's a certain rotation I need to achieve to get that to sound clean. Can you give us your favorite alternative picking exercise slowly? So you mean like economy picking? I mean, okay, let's try it. You do an A minor, A harmonic minor. Give me a G. Insta sub, thank you. If anyone else is new here, would appreciate if you subscribe, because there's a lot of live streams like this. If you enjoy this kind of content, there's a lot more where that's coming from. And with that being said, there's a lot of lessons that I do and that kind of stuff. So if you're interested in that, welcome aboard. Awesome, Straten. Thank you. And if anyone is interested in one-on-one guitar lessons with me, all you got to do is check out the link in the description. There's a email that you can contact me for one-on-one lessons, and also there is a lesson pack that's only $20. So either of those options you can check out. It's all linked in the description. One-on-one lessons, just contact the email. And if you want to check out my course, it's only $20 with tabs, cool slow videos. A lot of people like it. Check that out. That's linked in the description as well. What about your lesson pack? Oh, are you talking about the one linked in the description? That is got a lot of cool stuff on there. So there's tabs, there's lots of slow videos, and lots of quite unique ideas, if I'm being honest. If you like ideas where you kind of go through cool key changes, this is actually a really cool pack. There's a lot of economy picking stuff, a lot of alternate picking, lots of just arpeggio sequences as well. It's got probably like 20 licks, maybe 18 licks, maybe 16. But it's in that range, and sometimes I update it every once in a while. So I'll probably be updating it in like 3 months. So if you want to check it out, it's only $20. Link in the description. A lot of people love it, if that helps. People are really always asking me to make more, which I am working on as well. But that is pretty cool too. I like the licks in there a lot. Lots of my favorite ones are in there. His lesson pack is legit. I recommend it. Oh, shout out to you, Phil. Appreciate you as always. I think one of my favorite patterns right there. That's all just, what would that be? That'd be 3 notes. That's actually one that gets really fast. That might be one of my faster alternate picking licks, just because of the sheer volume of notes you get on one string like that. With that 3 note, that 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 is so fast. Great and golden hand. Thank you. I'm from Syria. Big love, man. Hey, shout out to you, man. Do you practice? Do you practice multiple ideas or concentrate? Oh my gosh. Do you practice multiple ideas or concentrate on only problematic areas? I play quite a lot, but too varied, I think. Instant subscribe. Amazing fluidity, bro. Thank you. Appreciate that. Thank you so much. So, that's a good question. Do I only work on problematic areas? Yeah, I would say that is probably what I would say is when I find something problematic, I will just quickly address that. I mean, that is exactly how I practice. Because there's no point in me just practicing stuff that I'm already good at. Just like, whatever. Sure, you could always clean it up, but I can, if I need it to be clean, I can put it on. I can get it cleaned right on the spot. So if there's like a thing I can't get clean right on the spot, that's typically what I'll work on. Just like whether it's something cool like a sauce arpeggio, maybe. Just whatever. I'll just work on things that need to be attended to sometimes. Just clean things up a little bit. Ever had your mind blown by Sean Lane? Yes, Sean Lane's great. Really, really, really phenomenal guitarist, man. Very good. So yeah, that is actually a good example of how I would do something where I need to practice something. I'll address her quite quickly. But let me read this comment. Just scrolling. I don't know you or if you're in a big band, but what's your preferred style to play? Okay, well, I'll introduce myself. I am Straten Marshall. I am a guitarist. I play guitar, essentially. Not in a band at the moment, but I am working on an album right now, and I will be doing this type of stuff soon. But with that being said, I kind of just play rock, metal, shred, lead guitar, sort of melody-based guitar playing. No offense, Straten, but I think Sean Lane is about 4 times faster than you. No offense taken, man. Sean Lane, shout out to him. He's great. major 7. Your hands are barely moving at all. Did you practice intentionally to get it to be that way? Yeah, pretty much. I always wanted to make it look like my hands are barely moving. That was actually something conscious. That's always been a goal of mine. So to say that it looks like they're barely moving is actually, you know, quite an honor to hear, because when I'm really warmed up, that's what it tends to start looking like. You're just like... So yeah, that definitely is a goal. I was a thrasher for a long time, but I lost interest in metal. Went to A Hours rock, blues influence, and did my own solo album, written, performed, and recorded. Turned out exactly how I wanted. Hey, that's amazing. Very cool. Yeah, that's how you do it, man. You gotta, I mean, you don't gotta transition your style of music, but I mean, it's always cool making stuff the way you want it. That's exactly how I like to do, just like make the music that I want to, you know, make. Super relaxed. Your playing flows so nicely. Thank you, man. Shout out to you. Are you aware of the pick slanting concepts that Troy Grady teaches? Did you learn that before you started to shred? So I know Troy Grady's a couple of his videos that were very good, but I watched him mainly for the entertainment value. But I guess I kind of subconsciously did do two-way pick slanting, so I am aware of his teachings, and it's good. But what I noticed is when I watched his stuff, I was like, oh wow, yeah, I do that thing where I'm tilting in different directions to make certain things happen. So that was pretty cool. But no, I didn't know about that. I mean, I did know about it, because when you do like sweeping and stuff, you gotta like go like this. Well, at least that's how I always did. So I always did it. I guess subconsciously I knew about it, but I didn't, you know, put that much detail into it in my head, I guess, at the time. But it definitely helps a lot. That chromatic blue stuff is where it is at for me. Can you teach me that stuff on one-on-one lessons? Sure, man. Just contact me for one-on-one lessons. The email is linked in the description. If you guys know how to get to the description, I believe it's the dots that are at the bottom right. At least that's how it is for me. I gotta put my phone on the charger. Hold on. There we go. It's kind of hard to do where my tripod was at. Okay. So yeah, we could work on that kind of stuff for sure. Hard rock, LOL. Now I'm a drumming guitarist who plays bass and sings, LOL. Oh, that's cool, man. Very cool. What string gauge you use? Thanks. I use 8 through 38. I've realized that pick slanting involves rotation of the wrist. Yes, I believe so. That neck, that looks like a neck off of a RG-170. No, it's a standard shape Kiesel neck. All right. Can you give an example of two-way pick slanting? I mean, I believe this is how it, I mean, this would definitely be an example right here. Just by going ascending then descending. Watch how I ascend economy picking. So when I ascend, that's downward. When I descend, that's upward. But if you're using two-way pick slanting, at the same time, I think it might look something like this. If I'm not mistaken. That kind of stuff, like. So that kind of stuff, I think, kind of requires you to do a little bit of both. If I think that's how it works, I do think that's how it works. Or so there's some examples where you could definitely find it happening simultaneously. I'm gonna run, but I subbed. Your channel reminds me when YouTube wasn't full of people trying to make a paycheck. Keep on roughing, man. The band is heavy as I check it out on Spotify or others. Hey, shout out to you, man. Thanks for subscribing. Hope to see you on another live stream, my friend. And show me some of your music. That'd be cool to check out. What picks and size gauge do you use? Thank you. So I use 1.0 usually Dunlop All-Tech Sharps, but I'm using a 1.1. It does make a difference. I do like the 1.0s better. That's tricky. How long do you play guitar? Do you have any advice to get faster, practice routine or exercise? Just work on all the main stuff, arpeggios, economy picking, alternate picking, all the stuff that you need to, know to get better. Just work on that stuff. Ascending or descending fours, can you show us how to do that? You could do that on one string if you wanted. Just this pattern. Is it possible to do across the string? Yeah. That is a little harder to explain. Because the way I do it for optimum speed is I use hybrid picking and sweep picking. Oh man, how'd you figure out how to do that? I just wanted to play it, and I just started figuring out how to play it, and then I started with alternate picking, so I do that with alternate. That was cool and articulate for a while, but then I wanted something a little faster so I could go this is alternate still at good speed. I wanted something a little bit more relaxed and smooth, so I came up with this. So yeah, I just wanted to be able to play like that. So I just, figured out techniques that worked. Kind of always played fours in many different ways. So basically, that's just what I did. Oh, Swiber picking. Did you learn it from someone, Marshall Harrison? No, Marshall Harrison's great. He's a really great resource for Swiber picking. Yeah, I've checked out a lot of his stuff over the years. But I'm not sure, because I've always been a hybrid guy. I'm not sure if I started before or after I checked out Marshall. I did know I always did hybrid picking, and then there's some moments where I would do hybrid and sweeping. But Marshall Harrison's definitely one of those guys that like he has a very advanced like way of doing it, and I don't know if we probably do run into a lot of the same patterns, but I've seen some of his stuff where he does things a little differently than I would do it, but he's very good at that, and he can do it really fast and clean. So I'm not sure if all of our ideas would be the same way or not. That'd be really cool to see. But yeah, it's Swiber picking. Yep, ever watched Marshall Harrison? Oh yeah, of course. He's actually been on some of these lives before, or at least one of them I know. I was like, dang, Marshall Harrison's on here. Is there something you can't do on the guitar right now? What are you working? I mean, there's probably stuff I can't do. I can't think of it, but I mean, there were some patterns I was working on before that were pretty hard, but nothing off the top of my head. Do you play metal? Yeah. Yeah. I would break a string. I would break a string every day on 8s. Only have one guitar. I never break strings with 8s. I mean, I don't see how they're not as easily breakable as it may seem. They just bend easier. Me too. I would break 8s all day long. Why would everyone have to break 8s? I mean, I don't see the reason why they'd have to break. How to shred? So I've explained this many times on the live stream of what you got to do. So mainly you got to just know your stuff, man. You got to learn scales, arpeggios, and all the techniques involved with this stuff if you want to get even remotely good. So you got to put in a lot of hard work if you want to get good. So start with this pattern. I'll give you one. I always like the sound of that one. C Lydian. When I play fast, I'm light-handed, but when I riff, I'm very heavy-handed. Oh, interesting. What are you prefer between economic picking or alternate? I'm always going to prefer economy. Just much. Can you do some Lydian stuff? Sure. Not too much Lydian, a little bit. But all right, everyone, I'm going to be heading out of here now. So if anyone is interested in one-on-one lessons with me, all you got to do is check out the link in the description or the email in the description. And if you want one-on-one lessons, so just check out the link. Oh my gosh. I'm saying it totally off. If you want to check one-on-one lessons, all you got to do is check out the email in the description. And if you want a lesson pack, check out the link in the description. All right, everyone. Peace out. Good to see you. We'll be back soon. All right, take care, everyone.